On the aircraft that returned to get de-ice, they have specific procedures on how to proceed once they've timed out and the validity of that de-icing, initial de-icing that they received, on whether or not they need additional de-icing. NTSB investigations involve three primary areas. Number one, the pilot. Number two, the aircraft. And number three, the operating environment.
In the last video about the Challenger 650 crash in Bangor, we talked about how things don't usually go wrong all at once. They tend to drift slowly, in ways that don't always stand out while you're in the middle of it. Now, the ATC audio from that night has been available, and what's interesting about it isn't that it exposes some big mistake or a bad call or anything that jumps out as obviously unsafe. It really doesn't. What it does show is why this may not have felt unusual to the crew at the time. So instead of trying to draw conclusions, I want to do something simpler. Let's just listen to the audio together. And as we do, I'll point out a few moments that are easy to gloss over, but start to matter when you put them in sequence. My name is William, and you're watching Black Box Analyst. Let's start with the arrival, because this is where the mental picture begins to form. Early on, the tower passes along runway information.
November 10 Kilo Juliet Bangor, tower wind 0904, runway 33, clear to land.
Clear to land, only 33, 10 Kajit.
November 0 Kilo Juliet, last arrival port at base is 2000.
2000, thanks, 10 Kajit.
November 0 Kilo Juliet, just had some condition codes come out for the runway. New condition codes for runway 33555, 100%, 1/8 inch dry snow.
Copy that, thank you, 10 Kilo Juliet.
November 0 Kilo Juliet, turn right at Mike, contact ground .91 off, and do you recall the bases or visibility?
Bases are right at like 2200, visibility is about 5 miles. You didn't pick up the airport until about 4 miles just due to the visibility with the snow. And we'll make a red at Mike on over the ground, 1032.
0 Kilo Juliet, thank you for that. And was the braking action on the runway good?
Yeah, it's 5x5, 10 Kilo Juliet.
Thank you very much.
There's nothing unusual here. In fact, it sounds reassuring. Good braking, decent visibility, a runway condition code that sits at the top of the scale. Even the mention of 18 inches of snow doesn't land with much weight because it's paired with dry and a perfect RCAM number, or runway condition assessment matrix. This is the first mental baseline. Good runway, good braking, acceptable weather. And that baseline forms before anything starts to change. A little later, ground control updates the ATC.
Aircraft information uniform now, current altimeter 3042, visibility now 1 and 1/2.
That's a meaningful drop, but notice how it's delivered. Calmly, matter of fact, no urgency, no warning tone. Just another update folded into the normal rhythm of operations. The system still sounds normal, but the environment is no longer what it was on arrival. This is the first moment where the picture begins to drift away from that original baseline, even though nothing feels abrupt. From here, the workflow continues. The crew asks about oceanic clearance. Ground explains how it'll be picked up airborne.
And Bangor ground, 10 Kilo Juliet.
Sorry, calling ground?
Kilo Juliet, quick question.
Hopefully I have a good answer for you.
Yeah, do we get our oceanic clearance with you, or do we call them on 35-9?
35-9, I can get you your departure clearance, your route, would be clearance off of here. The oceanic clearance, that'll be given to you when you're in the air talking to Moncton.
Departure clearance is issued, taxi routing is discussed, and then the de-ice pad is mentioned.
Okay, so we'll pick up our departure clearance now. We have information uniform.
Clearance is on request. You are cleared to Lima Foxtrot Oscar Kilo via the Bangor 5 departure Ebony, then as filed, and squawk 3440.
The Bangor 5, and then Ebony, as filed, 3440 squawk for 10 Kilo Juliet.
And 10 Kilo Juliet, the readback is correct. If you are going to need de-ice, the de-ice pad is on the other side of the terminal ramp area. Just give me a call and you can either just do the movement area around, or I can taxi you Alpha and over if you need it.
Copy that, 10 Kilo Juliet.
Everything about this exchange sounds ordinary, and that's worth sitting with for a second, because high-risk nights often sound exactly like this. No confusion, no friction, no one raising their voice. Just a well-run system doing what it normally does. This is how operational momentum starts, not with pressure, but with smoothness. As other traffic checks in, the broader picture starts to come into focus. A Moxie crew asks about the status of the field.
This is Moxie 176, how are you?
Moxie 176, I'm doing well, how are you?
Good, so we just terminated, but they're gonna send us back to Florida empty. Are they plowing anything, or what's the status of the field?
Currently, runway conditions are 333, 100% 1/4 inch dry snow. That is also the taxiways and ramps are 1/4 inch dry snow with braking action medium. Visibility, looks like I have nope, I don't have that coming down right now, but visibility is currently sitting at 1 1/4, but it does look like the ceiling is kind of slowly dropping, so I'm going to say visibility is going to reduce here to about a mile here very shortly.
That's not a forecast anymore. That's observation. Conditions are moving in real time. But again, everything remains calm, legal, normal. Later, the Challenger calls back, saying they're going to start engines and head over to de-ice. When they're ready, ground routes them toward the pad. Frequencies are exchanged, and then comes the request.
Ground 10 Kilo Juliet, we're ready to taxi.
10 Kilo Juliet to Roger, taxi over to the de-ice pad. It'll be Bravo, then a right turn on Alpha, and then a right turn there at Kilo, and then on the north side of the terminal ramp, there's the de-ice truck is there waiting.
Okay, perfect, thank you. Bravo, Alpha, Kilo, and we'll look for the de-ice truck, 10 Kilo Juliet.
And 10 Kilo Juliet, and you do have the de-ice frequency?
Yeah, we got it, 2937.
Yeah, affirmative, thank you.
All right, we're all ready, fully configured, so let's do Type 1, tire ship, Type 4, wings and tail.
It's a professional request, but this line matters because it marks a subtle shift. From this point on, time becomes a factor, and the weather, by now, is not stabilizing. Not long after, we hear something that stands out.
One, our de-ice fluid just failed, and two, I don't think the visibility is good enough for us to go, so we're going to have to taxi back to the gate here. I don't know how you want us to do that, to flip around here, or probably just taxi down the runway.
And Allegiant 976, yep, I'm just about to make an idiot. Visibility just dropped down to 3/4. So I was just about to reach out to you and let you know that. But you can make a right turn onto the runway and a right turn at Kilo straight into the ramp for Allegiant 976.
This is a key moment. Same airport, same runway, same weather window. Another crew, looking at the same environment, is already backing out. This is no longer theoretical risk. It's being experienced by other aircraft on the field. A little later, Allegiant asks a question that sounds casual but isn't.
Tower, Allegiant 976, got time for a question?
Allegiant 976, I do.
What's your snow total forecast supposed to be within the next 12 hours, do you know?
I think it's been slowly moving up, but I think we're in the realm of 10 to 14.
Your estimation is, if we don't get out of here tonight, do you think they'd be able to get out? Do they do a good job of keeping the airport open in that kind of accumulation to be able to get out tomorrow? I'm just curious.
Oh, yes, they do. The crew here is very good at getting on the runway, and they will clear it out pretty quick. If you guys don't get out tonight, I'm sure that over the overnight they will be on top of this runway, taking care of it as long as there's no ice encountered, which I don't expect with the temperatures. They keep on top of it pretty well.
Yeah, thank you. Sorry for the dumb question. It was just a Florida crew here. Just curious. That's all. Thank you.
Hey, no worries. I understand. It's new. It's not something you guys are used to. But yeah, no. This airport has a very good track record of staying open. I can say I've been here for 16 years, and they've closed once. And I think the record before that close was 30.
Everything in that response is true, but it also reinforces a sense of normalcy. This is manageable. This is what Bangor does. And that matters, because an open airport does not necessarily mean a stable takeoff window. Then comes one of the most revealing exchanges of the night, not between pilots and controllers, but between crews.
Up ground.
Allegiant's on tower, 120.7. Was that 10 Kilo Juliet?
No, it's the Moxie. Just want to ask him a question.
And Allegiant 976, change my frequency, 120.7.
27, Allegiant 976.
Hey guys, this is the Breeze Moxie guys. Did you guys fail the pre-contamination check?
Yeah, so I don't know what blew over at the end of the runway, but the visibility dropped and it stuck to us like there was nothing there.
Yeah, my guys are trying to make us go, but I keep telling them this is stupid.
Yeah, we're going to try it again, but it's not looking good for us either. We might end up staying the night.
That's not theory, that's observation. Contamination reforming after de-icing, in real conditions, reported by another crew in the same window. This is the single strongest new data point the audio gives us, because it's not filtered through hindsight or investigation. It's happening live. And then, almost immediately, the system returns to sounding normal again. Weather updates come in.
252 Bangor, tower wind 050 at 8, runway 33, clear to land.
Land 33. We're getting weather update.
Affirmative. New information that I had just put out about 9 minutes ago. Visibility is 3/4, light snow, indefinite ceiling 1,200, and altimeter 3039er, temperature -16, dew point -19er, and 33 RVR better than or more than 6,000.
Roger, thanks so much for that.
Lights are adjusted, winds are reasonable, phraseology remains calm and professional. Finally, the Challenger is cleared for takeoff.
10 Kilo Juliet, Bangor Tower, runway 33 RVR more than 6,000, wind is 060 at 9er, runway 33, runway heading, clear for takeoff.
Runway headed, clear for takeoff. Runway 33, 10 Kilo Juliet.
No rush, no warnings, no obvious stop cue. And this is the trap. Everything sounds fine, right up until rotation. What the ATC audio shows us is not a bad decision or a missed call. It shows us a shrinking decision space, wrapped in normal operations. Good information, delivered calmly, while conditions underneath it are becoming unstable. And that sets the stage for what we need to talk about next. Not what was done, but how the cues we rely on can quietly point us in the wrong direction. Once you step back from the audio and stop thinking about the sequence, one pattern starts to stand out. The information that keeps coming through the frequency is very good information. It's accurate, it's current, and it's reassuring. Runway condition codes are high, braking action is reported as good, RVR is strong, the lights get turned up. None of that is misleading on its own. In fact, those are exactly the data points we're trained to trust when deciding whether the ground picture supports a takeoff. The subtle problem is how easily those ground cues can bleed into how we feel about the takeoff as a whole. When you hear 5x5, your brain relaxes a little. When you hear RVR numbers well above minimums, that relaxation deepens. The runway feels solved. The acceleration problem feels solved. And without anyone consciously deciding it, that confidence can start to spill over into areas those numbers don't actually speak to. This isn't about misunderstanding RCAM. Most of the people watching this understand exactly what runway condition codes are meant to describe. The trap isn't ignorance, it's bundling. Runway good becomes takeoff good. Not because anyone believes they're the same thing, but because the brain likes clean categories. When one part of the problem space looks green, it subtly colors how we perceive the rest of it. What makes this especially dangerous is that it doesn't show up during the roll. If the runway is doing its job, the acceleration looks normal. Power looks right. Directional control is fine. Everything you'd expect to see before rotation is there. That's why these events don't announce themselves early. If something is going to reveal itself, it's often going to do it at rotation. That's the first moment where the airplane stops being a ground vehicle and starts asking the wing for everything it's got. If margin has been quietly eroded, that's where it shows up. The important point here isn't that RCAM or RVR are wrong. They're not. It's that they describe a very specific slice of reality. They tell you how the airplane will behave while it's still on the runway. They say nothing about whether the aerodynamic assumptions you're carrying into rotation still hold. For experienced pilots, the takeaway isn't to distrust runway metrics. It's to mentally firewall them. Treat them as ground picture only. Don't let a clean, reassuring runway environment become a stand-in for a clean aerodynamic environment. Because when the first real test comes at rotation, it's already too late to separate the two. One of the things that makes this accident so difficult to process is that nothing in the audio sounds stressed. If anything, it sounds like a system that's working exactly the way it's supposed to. Taxi instructions are clear. Frequencies are exchanged cleanly. De-ice coordination is smooth. Clearances are issued without hesitation. Even when conditions deteriorate, the updates are calm and professional. That smoothness matters because it creates momentum. When every step flows into the next one cleanly, it reinforces the feeling that the plan is still valid. The machine is running, everyone is doing their job. And as that's happening, stopping becomes psychologically harder than continuing. This isn't pressure in the traditional sense. No one is saying you need to go now. It's something quieter than that. It's commitment that builds simply because nothing is breaking. What the peer traffic shows us is how narrow that decision space was becoming, even while everything looked orderly. One crew tries to go and backs out, another debates whether trying again even makes sense. Visibility bounces around numbers that are legal but uncomfortable. The conversation isn't about emergencies, it's about whether tonight is even workable. That's the environment the Challenger is operating in, a well-managed operation with very little slack left in it. And that's where normalcy becomes hazardous. When an airport stays open, when controllers sound confident, when the system keeps accommodating changes, it can feel like validation. Not explicit approval, but a quiet sense that this is all still within the envelope of how things are done here. The danger is that stability of process can mask instability of conditions. Everything can be legal, everything can be calm, and the margin can still be razor thin. The truly new insight from the ATC audio isn't that de-icing matters, or that winter operations are tricky. Those things were already clear. What's new is how consistently the operational cues were saying, this is normal, while the environment was saying, this is not stable. That mismatch is where experienced crews can get boxed in, not by bad information, but by incomplete information that all points in the same reassuring direction. Nobody missed a big red flag. There wasn't a dramatic moment where someone ignored an obvious stop sign. What the audio gives us is a much quieter lesson. How easily good systems, good data, and good intentions can still converge on a moment where the margin simply isn't there anymore. And that's why this kind of accident doesn't feel preventable in hindsight until you slow it down and really listen to how normal it all sounded. That's as far as we can responsibly take it for now. The investigation will fill in the technical details. But the human picture, the way judgment gets shaped by cues, momentum, and normalcy, that part is already speaking pretty clearly. Thanks for staying with me through this. See you in the next video.